No. Why would I go see that?
Oh, it was actually decent. Apparently they're making 6 movies.
What? You're telling me they're starting another franchise?
Mm-hmm.
I am so utterly shocked.
Oh, shush.
Hello, Night Owls, and welcome to another episode of Up All Night, the only show where we put people on our shirt to symbolize our topic, debt. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Ari. And princesses don't have debt because they're princesses and they live in really rich kingdoms, and it wouldn't make sense for their peasants to have debt. Then they're not peasants. That's a real question. But like Stacy said, tonight we're going to be talking about student loan debt, and specifically about how it relates to students who attend HBCUs, because they found that typically students who attend these schools acquire more debt, and it's because they take out more money. So if you go to a $20,000 school, you take out $40,000 in debt. 2, the interest rates for these loans are a lot higher, so you accrue more interest by the time you graduate, and that this is most likely because they're not familiar with the ways that you can pay for college. So you can pay for college through loans, through debts, through scholarships, and because they don't know of all of these options, they'll take out these huge loans to help pay for everything: room and board, books, school, food, and they don't need to do this. And so a lot of times, by the time they pay for all the necessary items and they have that leftover money that comes back to them in a refund, they don't know to use this refund check to pay it back towards their loan to help pay it off, rather than spend it forward. And then this just kind of continues the cycle of debt, so they end up in even more debt, which is not good for them, and it's not good for anybody. And so more students, more debt.
Yeah. And as they, perpetually spend these refund checks and get really excited about them, I just got my refund check. Let me, or they're just waiting for it. I can't wait till I get my refund. Girl, we finna make, and that's cool if, you're having scholarships and your refund check is through your scholarship, because then that's your money. But then it ends up perpetuating worse things, because now you have more debt, and then when you graduate, so
you have to pay that back.
You have to pay it all back. And one of the biggest things that I always think about is that, as a business major, we have different opportunities after college, and we tend to have a higher, I don't know, the median wage income is higher. And I'm not saying they all have jobs, because a lot of them, I don't know what they're going to do after college, but I think that definitely when you pick your major, you need to understand exactly what type of income you're going to have coming out of college, and whether or not the debt that you're accruing is actually something that you'll be able to pay off in a timely manner by the time you're done.
But I mean, that's a lot. I do think that is a lot to ask of college freshmen going in.
That's true.
When you start college, you're not thinking about what's my income going to be like in 5 years? What's the market going to be looking like? But I think something that might help is to have a financial literacy class to get you there, to teach you what are the correct, what should you be looking for? What skills do you need to have to pay off the debt?
Yeah. And I definitely agree with that, only because they wait till your last year, at the end of your last semester, for you to meet with somebody to be like, okay, so you have these loans.
The federal government, $92,000.
You might want to get on that. And that's the other thing. They always give you a pay schedule of, these are the recommended pay schedules. You can do this, you can do this, you can do that, and it does it by a range of how much you can pay back. And I definitely think that, not that it's something you should ignore, but I think you should base it off of your income and not base it off of what they recommend. Because if you make a lot more money, or if you make, if the amount of money they recommend is something that's well below your means, then I feel like you should always pay more. Don't if they say $250 a month, don't pay $250 a month if you're making enough money to pay way more than that. Because I like to think of everybody as money hungry, and they want the most interest as possible, even the government. So pay off as much as possible.
But I think this comes back to not having that financial education. And I know I didn't have it entering college. So when I got out, I'm familiar with good debt and bad debt. And I think what happens is a lot of people think student loan debt falls under the good debt. And the problem is it's not. So when you think about good debt, it proves that you are a good borrower, that you're able to pay things off. And it's the same thing with a credit card. You get a credit card to demonstrate that I can buy this item and I pay it off. It's not so you can go ball out and all of a sudden you have an emergency, you have to go shopping, you have to get these shoes.
Yeah, a credit card is not for when they say that, I'm please tell me what I'm sorry, I'm straight on the side of the road. The only thing nearest me is this, but I should have my debit card, so no.
A credit card should basically, that is a debit card.
Yeah.
You spend it, you pay it off.
You better have somebody to back it up. I mean, I just see it as like, extra money really, because I only get it for like the cash back and the rewards, but I'm not gonna sit here and accrue credit card debt if I have the money to pay it off. That's absolutely ridiculous. And also when they talk about good debt and bad debt, they're talking about how people view it when they see it. So yeah, student loan debt, good debt. Yes, because they see it as something as you're going to school and you use it to pay off for education. But no debt is good debt because you don't want to be in debt at all. So pay it all off.
Cloud hanging over you
as soon as possible, because that is absolutely ridiculous. So I think that the end goal is just to have good credit.
Good credit is gained by spending and you pay it off, and you pay more than the minimum balance, and you pay it on time. That's the important thing.
That's the only thing.
But maybe that's a central problem, because you know what they say, black people are never on time.
That was almost actually racist. Prejudice. Actually prejudice.
It's probably very prejudiced, but I'm never on time. Stacey's always on time. But I think that'll wrap us up for this wonderful video. I think that's all I got. Anything else you want to add?
You sure you don't want to say something later? I'm done. That's it for me.
Alright, well, if we're done, it's getting pretty late here, so I'm gonna head to bed.
She's never late to bed, though.